Let's go through it here. That's the first one. This other one, guys, on page, so this is a really short chapter. It's basically like 2 pages. I've narrowed it down as much as I can. So this thing here, guys, the local enterprise office is really, really important, right? The local enterprise office is an organisation set up by the government to support small local businesses, right? Now, the first thing they'll do is you must have less than 10 workers. And when they bring up how does a local enterprise office help the community, we'll go through it now. First thing they'll do is they'll run these workshops, okay? And again, they'll run these workshops for free, and this is your local enterprise, right? So your LEO, your local enterprise, will run workshops and help you in areas like sales, marketing, finance, and IT. So if you're starting off in a business and you don't know too much about how to develop a website, you can go to your local enterprise office and they'll run these workshops. You know, it's a 10-week workshop, and sometimes you'd pay for it, but like it might only be like €50 and you'll get like a huge amount of information out of it. Because again, think of it, guys, this is being funded by the state. The government are funding this because they want to encourage people to set up businesses, because when businesses set up, you know all the advantages there. They're all the benefits of supporting local businesses. Another thing that they will do is they'll give you advice on areas like if you want to go for, and just pick off the concrete things. Don't just say they'll give you advice on how to run your business better. That'll only get you maybe 2 out of 5, even if you're lucky. But they'll give you advice on stuff, something like business registration and legal documents you need to have. Or if you want to get a patent on a product, they'll do all of that as well, right? Another thing they'll do is they'll give you grants, and it's a very good thing to remember the grant there, that they can give you grants of up to €80,000 for sole traders within their first 18 months of doing business, all right? So they'll mark in the name of that there. They'll give you feasibility study grants, and you can get these business expansion grants of up to €80,000 if you're starting out as well. But those are the little things that are very, very useful to get across there. So the next thing then you can note here is that they'll give you a mentor, and the mentor will give you like expert legal advice on how to solve problems. And again, that's just going to be another advantage that you have. So this will be a person you can ring at any stage, and they'll meet up with you and they'll give you guidance on what you might have to have. So that's another one there. They'll give you a skilled mentor who's got a lot of contacts, and they can give you advice on how to improve your business as well. So that's the broad thing there of it. A great thing there as well to note, guys, is they're run locally. Okay, so they know the background. They ask you to evaluate the role of local enterprise offices. It's really good to note there that they're run by local people in an area, so they know the background of everybody applying for jobs, and that way then as well they can they know who to give grants to, and if someone isn't suitable for a grant, they know that a lot better. So it's a lot harder to fraud them, because they're run locally by local people in an area, so they'll know a good bit around the background of people who are applying for jobs, right? Or who are applying for support and financial support. So that's just an important one. If they ask you to evaluate the LEOs, that's a good way of going about that. So that's what I always want to stress there. Because they're run by local, the risk of fraud is a lot smaller. Obviously, fraud can still happen anytime there's money involved, but that's a good point to remember that when you're evaluating them there. That's really on the LEOs. So make sure, again, there's only really one question I'm going to ask. Explain how LEOs support local businesses. Think back to the WAGs. They do workshops, they have agencies, they have grants, and they give you support from a mentor. All right, and that's us there. Right. One big thing to stress that I always need to note is LEOs will give you support if you have less than 10 workers, and Enterprise Ireland will give you support if you have 10 workers or more. So don't mix them up. Make sure you've got a good grasp on that. All right. And again, just before you even move off on that, right, I just want to go over Enterprise Ireland one last time to make sure we're all properly clued in on what their role is. So if we go back there, yeah, this it here, if you want to go back, and this is a quick recap in the previous chapter on page 232, but this is the role of Enterprise Ireland. So I just want to make sure we've got a little bit of extra stuff thrown in there. But when you're going through Enterprise Ireland, remember, evaluate the effectiveness of Enterprise Ireland, support Indigenous businesses with an export focus, 10 workers or more in the software sector, right? And then anything there on that, they'll give financial support to their seed venture capital scheme. They'll give you export assistance. They'll help Irish businesses, Irish entrepreneurs make connections abroad, right? Then also they'll attend these trade fairs and knowledge events, again, to promote your products abroad, and they'll also give you ideas on how you can cut your costs. Okay, but that's the That's what you need to be able to remember when you're going down through Enterprise Ireland. And note there as well, guys, the crucial thing with this question is they said for you to evaluate it. Okay, so at the end you put in, like, in my opinion, and a great way of evaluating them is the fact that they help Irish businesses become more competitive in international trade. This will help them hugely at the moment as inflation is rising. If you wanted to give an input on that, but I would be stressing that would be a great one for helping Irish business at the moment with costs of living increasing. The fact that they give you insight on how to reduce your costs and become leaner, that is a really important role as well. But just spot there, guys, the evaluation. If I was trying to catch out my class on a test, I'd throw them that question, evaluate the role of Enterprise Ireland, and I know a lot of students would miss the evaluation part and they'd automatically be down 20% on that question. So remember, evaluation, in my opinion, and then I'd lean into this one. The fact that they are giving support to businesses on how to cut costs is crucial at the moment due to costs of living increasing. And keep that as a separate point. Always remember when you're evaluating, make sure you hadn't mentioned the point earlier in your answer. It's a new piece of information where you're giving your opinion and you're trying to tie it in with relevancy to like the current economic climate or what's happening at the moment, okay? But that's what they want you to have when you're going down through it. All right, but just be sharp on that, guys. See it there, Enterprise Ireland came up in 2018. We saw Enterprise Ireland as well in 2014 and hasn't come up since then. So just be sharp on it for your paper this year. I know it was a quick recap of what we did in the previous page, but students will want to make sure they've got the two of them tied in well. In general as well, there's nothing there really that would catch anybody else out. It's all the same points there that you guys can have there for that. Yeah, there's nothing really that would catch anybody out. Okay, if you want to note there, explain. I want to show you a quick other question there. This one here from 2019, explain the reasons, this on page 236, explain the reasons why the Irish government encourage entrepreneurship in Ireland. Don't overthink that. That's just basically like, why does the Irish government support businesses? And you've got all your points. Like they create employment, they're a source of taxation for the state. Again, it's a spin-off effect. When businesses set up, they trade with other businesses, that creates more wealth. You can get into the fact that they export as well. They're going to improve our balance of payments. Entrepreneurs will create like a breed of entrepreneurs. Again, when people see their friends set in businesses, they'll see that they're successful. That can inspire them to do the same. So that's really just like what's the benefits of small businesses doing well. So that one there, reasons why Irish government encourage entrepreneurship in Ireland. See it there as, let's say, for 15 marks. You divide by 5, they wanted 3 points. Your job there, guys, would be to give the examiner, I'd be aiming to give the examiner like probably 4 points at least and link it in, okay? So employment, exports, they pay taxes, they're 3 very, very straightforward one, but they can also create more wealth because it's a spin-off effect because they're trading with other businesses. But just make sure you're very, very sharp on that question, all right? And don't drop any marks there. That's a really, really nice one, okay? Yeah, that's all fine there. And you see what I mean there again, guys. They're going into it, describe economic and social benefits of community development. The social benefit, like the vibrant culture, sense of pride in the area, people's well-being improves. Make sure you use words like that as well. Okay, that's perfect. Thanks.